and YouTube. I'm Edwin.
And I'm Joseph.
And this is
Edwin and Joseph Talks. So in today's episode, one of our viewers had told us to check out the stuff on USS Nimitz, which I did. Now, when I first heard it, it didn't dawn in my head that I already knew about it. I kind of heard about it a little bit, but not in the detail that I started seeing, kind of researching. History Channel does a real good series on it that is really recent, like within the last month or two. If you have time, definitely check that out. Now, when I had first heard about it, it was actually on Joe Rogan's podcast. He was talking with Tom DeLonge, which, if you don't know who that is, it's the... does he play bass? No, he's a guitarist.
He's the guitarist.
The guitarist and also one of the singers for Blink-182. So he went on there and everybody was like, well, Tom's just went crazy. Well, Tom's always been into that stuff. And he was talking about how, like, a guy from the Pentagon came to him and all this stuff. And, well, Joe looked at him like he was, nuts.
Crazy.
Yeah, like, are you sure about this? Well, he showed Joe Rogan some of the clips and stuff of the Uss Nimitz, and I think Joe Rogan would be like, well, are you sure this is real type of deals?
Yeah.
So I started watching and researching about what actually happened. So there was a test, basically a flight test. It was over around San Diego, okay? And they were out, and the Uss Nimitz is a Navy...
Large Navy
fleet. It's nuclear powered. It's big. They send the planes off, and they were doing test flights. Now, one of the pilots got on the radio that they were going into, and I don't know what it's officially called, but instead of going from a test to a real world scenario.
Yeah, where pretty much they were in the middle of a test run, and then they got called over, the PA that, hey, there's something actually happening.
So they actually talked to this pilot. The pilot is still in active duty, so they blurred her out, and they didn't reveal any names or anything. And she was in the one plane. Now, she described that they seen shimmering in the water, and that when it came out of the water, it was like a tic-tac-like object that glowed. So they were trying to figure out what this was, and they have, the actual camera footage from the planes, and that's what got released. Now, they talked to another pilot that took off. When she landed, he took off. Now, he was more of a senior pilot, so he went more directly at it, and he said at first it kind of went that way, then she was going at him.
Yeah, I came towards them.
And that is the footage that you see where it almost looks like a top. You see a black kind of figure, and then you see a glowing mass around it. They started looking at this footage, and the next time I had heard about this was, I think, on Ancient Aliens. Now, they took that footage and they took it was a visual effects artist, and they were just saying, hey, do you think this is real footage? And now they had two people that used to be ex-fighter
fighter pilots.
Fighter pilots there. They were watching it too. Now, those two are skeptics, don't believe anything about aliens. But they looked at the footage and they're like, well, we can tell you this is real footage. Now, none of them were seeing the glowing area around that top thing. Mm-hmm. What made it incredible is, say it's coming in view, all right? It's going at the same speed this whole time. It kind of looks like it's stationary in the video, but it's moving at a good speed. And then all of a sudden just kind of turns like this. So the top of it's here and the bottom of it is here. But it's still in the same speed in the same point of space. Mm-hmm. And they're like, well, one, what could have done that? And two, what's this glowing stuff? Well, they figured out, which another video which we have on Bob Lazar, that it's anti-gravity.
And you know what's funny too is the same guy Lazar mentioned that when these things fly, they don't fly like this. They turn like that to where the belly's out.
Yeah.
And they fly like that.
Yeah,
which goes coexistent with what you're saying right now.
So the visual effects person pointed out the glow. And he even said, he goes, you know, at the speeds that this thing was moving, everything, he goes, this is a real video. Now, one of the things that really makes this worthwhile to anybody is this came from the Navy.
Yeah. It's not like just random civilians or...
No, it got released. The audios got released. The footage got released. And that is a big step in just saying, like, oh, there's stuff out here that we cannot explain, and that's around us. Now, these crafts, they had another one, which I'll get into in another part. We'll make this a two-parter, so next week we'll kind of get into this. But in the Middle Eastern, there's kind of the same thing, except they were going on an actual mission. Mm-hmm. Now, they had these things that looked like square objects, but it had the same light around them, and they were, like, flying towards them.
Yeah.
I'll get into that one in another video, but, you know, this sighting and reporting on it, it's major in the whole terms of UFOs. Even if you don't want to believe in aliens, that's a proven fact right there, that there is something that is not human created that's being around us and around our you know, our military, the world's militaries, that they have no control of.
And one thing we didn't mention was it wasn't like they caught this thing in air. It came out from under the water.
Yeah, it did come out of the water. I had asked somebody that I know that was from around Catalina Island if he'd ever seen something like that. And he had remembered something that when he was younger, as a kid, where he'd seen a light that came down and then vanished. And the only thing that he can think of is that it went into the water.
Ocean, yeah.
And there's a lot of reports where they call them USOs, unidentified submergible objects. So, you know, there's a big correlation of, you know, maybe them being hidden where they're using water and also space to be able to remain unseen. Now, one thing that when I was looking at all this that reminded me was back in like the World War I and II eras when they used to talk about Foo Fighters.
Yeah.
Where they would see the points of light that would fly past them or fly, you know, right by them or through them and all that craziness. You know, this has been going around for a while.
Yeah. It's just you don't hear about the submersible ones as much as you do about the flying ones.
Yeah, I think it's more of a, maybe not a recent thing, but I think it's a recent thing of what's being talked about now.
Yeah. So, I mean, now we don't only got to worry about things up in the sky. They could very well be right beneath our oceans.
You know, the thing that really worries me is our military has no way of really predicting or stopping any of these things. They show up and they're like, oh, they're kind of here. What do we do? And there's no in between. And that's kind of scary.
Oh, yeah, because, I mean, these things are obviously way more advanced than we are with technology alone. You know, it's...
I want to say one of the guys did the math in one of the videos. And in the next video, I'll try to have some of that present, where he was talking about they were going above Mach 3.
Yeah, and that's... For those of you who don't know, jets go at, what, Mach 2 the most?
I want to say they can hit like 2.5.
2.5?
That we know about anyways. So that's extremely fast. Like, our planes just can't keep up with them. I mean, so this is going to be kind of an introduction to the USS Nimitz. I'm going to have another video next week where we talk about kind of who spearheaded this, kind of have more information on, the reports that they have found. If you have a chance, check out the History Channel on that program. I'll post it in the description so you guys can actually be able to see it and go to History Channel and find it. No, this is not a sponsored thing by History Channel. They just produced a really solid program on it. With that being said, everybody, like, subscribe, comment, ring the bell, tell us what you think. We're in California. If you're around the coast, tell us if you've seen any, just strange things. You don't have to say that you believe it's alien or not. Just, have you seen some strange things with lights, dipping into the ocean, stuff like that?
Let us know too if it changes your view on things, as opposed to hearing a sighting from a civilian to our military, because that's a little bit more higher up on the credential area, So once again, thank you for stopping by. We hope you enjoyed the video, and with that, we'll see you next time.